Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.
Hey guys, today I'm going to take you guys out and show you how to catch trout. And basically I'm targeting trout after they probably were planted maybe a couple months ago, but I'm fishing a deep impoundment and I'm going to show you exactly how to go out and catch them. Number one is I use downriggers for controlled depth, and I use a rod that I call toplining. So one bait's going to be on the surface, probably about maybe 3 to 5 feet down, and I'll show you exactly how far I set them back. The other rods I'm going to use on downriggers, which I call controlled depth. So I'm watching my meter, I see where the fish are, I drop the downrigger down, I can see the downrigger weight on my meter, so I know exactly where everything is. And it's all about controlled fishing, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do all this. I'm going to show you the tackle from the line, the rods, the reels, everything that you're going to know, the lures, what I do to them, change hooks, how I trick them out, and everything else. So I hope you enjoy them, and if you like, please like and subscribe. And if you go in the description on the bottom, it shows you all the equipment I'm using. And please leave a comment, because when you leave comments, it lets me know that you're enjoying my videos. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm going to show you guys how I stack. So basically, look at my meter over there. I want to make sure this meter is set at 0. So we got 0, so I know my depth downrigger set at 0. And I was watching the meter and I saw the fish down around 30 feet of water. So what I'm going to do is, on the bottom one, you set your line out. Sometimes I use a line counter reel, it helps, but if not, I count the pulls. So when you stack, I'm going to put the bottom one out about 80 feet, and then the one that's going to go on top of it will be half the distance, so it'll be 30 to 40. So I'm going to set this bottom one. It's always good to use a reel with a clicker, so it puts pressure on it so it doesn't backlash when you let it out. So basically what I'm doing is I'm setting this out, get it out there about 80 feet. You're going to see I have my release right here. This is what's going to hold the line into the release. That'll keep it down at that depth. So basically I'm going to put this line about halfway in the clip. Once you get it clipped in, make sure this is free spooled, the clicker's on. I let down this button, I watch the meter. So I'm going to take it down about 10 feet, set this one in the rod holder. I'm going to do this one a little bit more, like at about 15 feet. Okay, then I'm going to take my other rod, which I'm going to try keeping this little lure on the surface. So this has a line counter on it, so I could let it out and know exactly how far I am. So I'm going to put it about half the distance, so I'm going to get it out there about 40 feet. So you could just get it down there and you see it counting going out. So there's 40, I'll go about 45 feet. Then, a lot of times it's easier to keep the release in your hand like this off the cable. You take it and you want to clip it. You see this little dot right here? You want to do it halfway. So it's right in the middle of that dot. And then what you do is you reach over, clip it on the cable. So I snapped it on. And I know I'm 12 feet above the other one. So now I pushed it down and I let them both go down. So I'm going to go down probably about maybe 30 feet. Then I lock it, lock that one, stick it in here. I'm going to turn my clicker back off. And what you do is you see this rod in the line, I want to get it tight so it's straight down. Same for the one back here. So they're both set now. So you can see the bends in the rod. So now when a fish hits it, you'll see the rod go like this and it'll pop off the clip and you bring them in.
Why do you do two on one downrigger on one side?
Well, because so like when you're out here and there's two of you fishing, and you have a 2-rod stem, you only can have 2 rods. So this 2 setups, I'm covering the water column where I see them on the meter at 30 feet and then one at 15. This other setup, we got this one set at 40 feet and this is top lining. So this one, the lure is only 5 feet under the surface, 100 feet back. So we're top lining, hook this fish 100-foot setback. So the lure's probably only down maybe about 5 feet. Oh, nice one. But the bait's only down. We're top lining. The water temperature is 59 degrees. We're out here trout fishing. So we got downriggers out and this top line. So this fish is right up on the surface. Oh, nice one. Don't mess up with the net now. Oh, scoop 'em, fool. Hey, yeah. Fish on. Top lining with a Rapala. These ones are set back on the downrigger and it's controlled depth. So like I know I'm at 40. I see a lot of fish on the meter between 35 and 40. And then this one's on the surface. It's hard to see the fish on the meter on the surface because of all the clutter. Now usually the clarity of the water for your setback, usually different kind of fishing, like when you guys start watching me in my kokanee ones, my setback's only 8 feet from the cable. But here, for trout fishing and the water's so clear, they're a little bit more shy, so you want to set it back further. But you're gonna see, especially when I start doing other videos on kokanee, the tighter, because on those we're using Dodgers, so it has a lot of difference to how much line you have, how much the Dodger swings. Now we only have lures on here, so it doesn't matter. The lure's gonna do the same movement, know how close you get.
The more shallow the load, you want more setback?
Not necessarily. When you have lures that don't dive when you're on a downrigger cable, your downrigger's taking it down. So you don't want a lure that dives 10 feet and you're pulling it on a downrigger cable, because if your downrigger set at 30, your lure is not going to be 30, it's going to be 40 feet down. So it's better to use a small bill so that it's tracking straight right behind the downrigger. When you're top lining, depends on where you want it. So like if I knew the fish were 10 feet down, then I would use the one with a beak on it. But here we see them jumping, so we want to keep it as high as we can to the top of the surface. So we just use a regular shallow running lure. When you're running a really shallow lure, you want to set it back about 100 to 120 feet behind the boat. Most likely because you're causing so much commotion with the boat and the motor, so it gives the fish a little bit time to come back up on the top. Because if you run right over the top of them with a motor, they probably disperse and go down. So you want it back far.
So I see fish on my fish finder, they're at 40 feet, for example. I will put my downrigger I will put out how many poles and then how many feet will I put my downrigger?
As far as depth on the downriggers and how I set my depth, setback, like I told you, is due to how much noise I'm putting off from the motor that I'm using, the clarity of the water, and if there's a ripple on the water. But one of the things about my choosing that setback is I usually vary. So I usually use 2 poles all the time, and I'll try difference until I could find where it seems to be best. Because sometimes when you put your lure too far back, you lose the action. And then on as far as speed, trout usually 2 to 3 miles an hour. So depending on the kind of hardware you're pulling. So if you use Dodger, you're only going to go 1 to 1.5. If you're pulling just a straight lure, you're probably going to be going anywhere from 2 to 3 miles an hour. Hey guys, this is some of the stuff that you're going to need for trout trolling. So some of the equipment that I'm using, we'll start first with your rod and reel. You want something that's very parabolical bent, meaning that the rod bends all the way through the rod. And you want a real soft one, because when you put it in a downrigger, it's going to be like this. It's going to be set up so it has that bend to it. You want to use a small reel, something that'll hold 125 yards of 8-pound test. This particular one is a Daiwa, has a line counter on it, so I know exactly how far my setback, because when you watch the video, you're going to tell you to put it back 80 feet or 100 feet or whatever. So this way here, you'll know exactly how far instead of just guessing. And the reels don't have to be real big. You want them light so that they'll fit and be comfortable on the rod. So another thing is your line. You're going to see me always using this brand here, Yozuri. I really love it. It's actually a really good line. Some of the things you're going to need equipment. You're going to need a big weight like this for your downrigger. So downrigger fishing is controlled depth. So I know exactly where my baits are in the water column. And this is a release, and we'll be going over this in the videos more. But you clip this on the line. This clip, the line holds, and after you set back, and then when the fish hits it, it pops off. So controlled depth. And then some of the lures. I like to use a lot of Rapalas. You're going to see in the videos a lot of fish caught on these. Speedy shiners, scatter wraps. And one of the things about choosing your lures is your boat speed. So really pay attention in the videos, because you can't take a lure that you have to go 3 miles an hour. And this one only goes 1.5 miles an hour, because this one will be doing loop to loop. So watching the videos and you'll learn exactly how to do this. So this is how I like to troll. Top lining, downriggers, you know, just covering the whole water column where I'm seeing the fish on the meter. And if you do your style fishing, just go into the comments and leave me a comment. Let me know how you do it, because I'm always out here to learn too. So something that would help me, I'm helping you, you help me. And I'm glad you're watching.
Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.